Hi, I'm Amanda Morgan from Not Just Cute, here with First Friday Q&A for the month of April. This month's question comes from Lisa, who wrote in about a child in her preschool setting. Now, Lisa mentioned she's been teaching for about 17, 18 years, and this child has just brought her to her wits' end. It sounds like she's a 3-year-old only child, and this is her first experience in a child care or preschool setting. And she says that this child is constantly whining or crying and saying she can't do things, she can't cut, she can't color, she can't wash her hands, she can't put her clothes on, and just always complaining about these tasks. She mentioned she also has a hard time getting along with the other children in the classroom and having a hard time in circle time, not being the center of attention during that time. So as I read through these descriptions, I thought it sounds somewhat typical for a 3-year-old, but what got my attention was that Lisa, again, she mentioned she's been at this for almost 2 decades, and this really has pushed her to the edge. So there's something about this that's making it particularly difficult. So that's the first thing that I would look at is what about this is setting you off? We all have our hot button issues, and there are certain things that just make us kind of snap, and it doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you less patient, but it's good for us to be aware of what things set us off, because we have to be aware of our own hot button issues so that we can approach the situation with the most self-awareness, with the most understanding of the situation. And it's also good to be aware if it's a hot button issue and we can feel it getting under our skin, that sometimes we can hand off the situation to another teacher or to someone that we parent with, our spouse or whoever it may be. So first thing is to be aware of your hot button issues and do some self-reflection so that you can be aware of what it is that sets you off. For some people, it's just, I have a low tolerance for disrespect or cruelty, or there's just something about this personality or about this situation that's just getting under my skin. So we have to be aware, what is it that's getting us worked up so much, and be fully aware of what it is that's setting us off. Is it the behavior or is it the personality? Is it the whining or is it the helplessness? Which part is it? When we can isolate that, we can approach it with more intention. Now, the second thing that got my attention was, again, this helplessness, this emotional approach to doing things, to any task that she has to do in this preschool setting. Now, it's typical for young kids to want somebody else to do something for them, because they're at 3 years, they're just starting to have that burgeoning independence. They're anxious to be independent, but it can also be intimidating because there are so many things that are so new. And particularly for this child, it sounds like everything is new right now. So the first thing is to encourage them to be capable, to give them opportunities where they can succeed so that they can build up that confidence, because that's a big part. As Lisa mentioned, this child often comes to her with a cutting project, or after she's washed her hands, or different things, and it's just, I can't, and she cries and gets emotional. So technically speaking, we would call something like this possibly learned helplessness. So that's a situation where somebody doesn't have control, doesn't have abilities, and so somebody else does it for them, and it becomes modus operandi. It's the easiest way to do it, to just let somebody else do it for yourself, because that's the best way to get it done, or because I'm not capable anyway. And so you have to stop reinforcing that mode of thinking and change her perspective. So make sure that tasks are to her ability level or just barely beyond that. Give her lots of positive reinforcement. Break tasks down into smaller steps. So maybe it's getting dressed. I'll often make a deal with children who are not eager to try something new and step beyond and build new abilities. So maybe I'll say, you put your shoe on and then I'll help you tie it, or you get your coat on, I'll help you zip it. So instead of them just saying, I can't put my coat on, they can put their coat on. The zipping part might be what's getting them upset. So break them down to small steps so that they can have this feeling of success with whatever part is equal to their ability. Also, again, like I mentioned, reinforcing and really focusing on the effort you're putting into it, that she's putting into it. So recognizing if she spends a long time on something and really focused, you're working so hard, or look, you did it, you've done it, you've worked hard and got better at that. Or when she's getting frustrated, just reinforcing that you're so close, just keep at it, it's going to get easier. So giving her lots of positive feedback is going to help with that also. And then also watching out for maybe perfectionism. Some children are afraid to try things because they want it done perfectly, and they're afraid to try it because they know they're not perfect yet. But it's impossible to become perfect if you don't get practice. So maybe watch for that maybe she's she's got kind of a perfectionist streak and she's afraid to try it because she doesn't want to fail. So give her a safe environment where it's okay to make mistakes, and really praise and reinforce the positive aspects, the effort that she's putting into it, the accomplishments that she's making, breaking them down into small pieces, so that she can feel that success and feel the capability grow. Also giving her choices, which seems disconnected from ability, but that helps her to feel control. So giving her choices about things can help build the confidence and the feeling of control, which kind of combats a perspective of learned helplessness. The other thing that Lisa mentioned is this issue with social skills, and it makes sense for any 3-year-old. Preschool is a big leap in social capabilities. It requires so much, and even children that do great in preschool settings, often I'll hear from parents that they go home and they're just wiped out, or they're emotional because they've spent it all in this 2 or 3 hour setting, because it's so taxing for a 3-year-old to be able to perform in all these social ways. So maybe isolate a few of these skills that you see this child struggling with and work that into your circle time with skits or stories or role playing or puppets, whatever it might be, so that you can isolate the skills that she needs, which most of your children probably do need, even if they may be doing it better than she is, or they may be doing it most of the time. The social skill reinforcement is going to be helpful for everyone in your classroom. So have some quick mini lessons about social skills to teach that and reinforce that, to give scripts and to help out with that. So hopefully those are a few things that will help out Lisa with this difficult situation that you have. And the passage of time and experience, as long as you keep it supported and positive, is going to help her as well, because there's just a period of adjustment, and having the empathy, understanding that this child is coming to a new situation that can be difficult for her, that's beyond her comfort level and her boundaries, and is forcing her to stretch a bit, is going to be taxing on her. So having some empathy for her and supporting her and helping her to grow and develop in a positive environment is going to help make this easier on everybody involved. So I'll put some links below this to help out with some of these struggles that Lisa mentioned she's having, and I'm sure a lot of parents and teachers out there are having. So if you have some suggestions as well, I'd love for you to put those in the comments section, or links to other resources on these topics of giving kids confidence and overcoming learned helplessness, and building social capacities, and also dealing with our hot button issues. So all those links will be below. Add yours in the comments, and then keep sending those questions to me at amanda@notjustcute.com or questions@notjustcute.com. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next month.